Thanks for coming out today. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. You see what I did there? On this
Yep.
episode of My Mic Sounds Nice, we discuss Jay-Z's concert, freestyle, and the backlash. By some of the responses out there, maybe he did sell some of you crack. But when a family loses a child under suspicious circumstances, what does community support look like? Are there lines that shouldn't be crossed? We'll discuss the Nolan Wells tragedy and the discourse. Then we'll close things out with the Robinson Report.
Welcome to my Mic Sounds Nice, a freestyle conversation about health, relationships, and culture. Once again, Tim, always glad to be in the building. Let's get it.
Welcome to My Mic Sounds Nice. This is Kev, aka Reggie Jacks, coming from the Bronx. Thanks for joining us today.
My mic sounds nice. This is Aaron. Yo, why does Tim always sound like he's about to be in a booth? Diction clear, voice booming. Like you about to cut a song every time, Tim. I'm with you. We need to go to mic lessons at Tim Jones' crib.
So, for those of you who didn't get the chance to listen before we got started, our producer called us a profane term that I will not repeat on air because we were not amped and ready. So, you know, maybe he'll leave it in the comments. Maybe you've heard it, but this was me leveling up to be professional despite being hurt and scarred. So,
My apologies. I was just
Oh,
joking because I thought it was such a funny
no,
term.
because all I'm going to say, there was some reasonable doubt that we was going to scrap the blueprint and not do this show, but based upon what we're wearing, we decided we was going to keep it black.
Yeah, it, it,
Haha.
def- it definitely was. Can I live? Friend or
Exactly.
foe?
Exactly.
it's
But
a whole lot going on in there.
yeah, we gonna move
Speaking
forward. We gonna move forward with some cashmere thoughts.
And guess what? The Knicks still won, baby. I'm gonna
That's
be
right,
talking about this forever and
because the
ever
streets
and
is
ever and
talking. Because
ever.
the streets is talking. You know
the
what I
streets is
mean?
talking. All right. So Jay-Z recently held three different concerts at Yankee Stadium celebrating the 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubts. He also celebrated the Blueprint album and a third concert titled Extra Innings. Uh, what were your thoughts about the event? I know our brother Tim, he got some special, he's going to share with us.
So I had a chance. I went to the first night. Uh, if I'll say this, of the albums, I Blueprint is one of my favorite albums, but logistically, it was better to go on Friday. I also am a big brother to Young Guru, so there was definitely a personal joy being able to see him operate at that stage. But the concert, it was definitely a moment. I had also gone to Yankee Stadium with you, Kev, for the 50th anniversary concert. So energy
Of
was a
hip
little
hop, of hip.
different of hip hop, the 50th anniversary of hip hop on August 11th, 2023. This was a little different because this was all about Jay-Z. Uh, Seeing different generations in the building. The concert on point. We're going to talk about the freestyle a little bit later. But for me, just being there, looking at where I was in 96 when the album came out to where I currently am, and especially as far as hip hop goes, being a professor, having written about it, having a business around it from an education standpoint, it was interesting to look back. Um, as a performer, pristine, sound, all of that bar none. One thing I'll say, and I know it's been having a conversation, is like when you're there, are you there celebrating via reminiscing, or are you there celebrating based on the current? And so I mean, it's like, okay, are you there because this album was so amazing 30 years ago, or are you there because of what Jay-Z has been able to accomplish in said 30 years? And to me, those are not necessarily one in the same,
Yeah,
because like, and I'll say the last thing I'll say, for me, the moment with Nas, was everything. It really was everything because I was sitting next to a young man who's the same age as my son, whose name is Nasim, so that people can call him Nas. And so to watch him light up seeing Nas and seeing him and Jay go back and forth over each other's tracks was definitely a highlight moment. So I'm glad I was there. The energy was palpable. It was 40,000 plus, and there was no ruckus. Like that was also good. I love being around people that look like me and keeping it a buck. Feel safe.
Yeah. I and not that all three nights weren't amazing and had something different to offer, but from what I'm hearing, you went to the best night, you know. And not that Blueprint wasn't amazing or
Yeah.
Extra Innings wasn't amazing, but I think Ebro made this point, and it's a good point. The energy of Reasonable Doubt is different than the energy of the Blueprint.
Without a doubt.
So automatically, you're gonna have a different feel. The concerts can have a different feel.
It was more personal. It
Yeah,
was more personal, and you're making an amazing point because I think about it, just even in its title, and you could, as a good poet or poem, you can take it however you want. There was a certain level of achieved success by Blueprint that was not there for Reasonable Doubt. That,
absolutely.
that you know what I mean? So you think about that 5 year difference from 96 to '01. Jay really blew up.
Yeah,
Like that 5 year stretch is some people's Hall of Fame careers.
yeah.
So I think that's a really great point.
And Blueprint, actually, if you think about it, to further your point, Tim, was actually the solidifying album that, oh, this guy is great, because
Yes.
there was some question on
Yeah.
In My Lifetime. What's the name of that? The second, is it In My Lifetime Volume One?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, like, and then Volume Two. So there was not everybody was completely on board with the middle
And then
albums.
you had the Dynasty
Yeah,
album,
yeah,
which
I
was
mean,
supposed
it
to
did.
be a good group album and all that. Yeah.
He didn't solidify himself until Hard Knock Life. Like, I mean, well, that took him out. That took him into, I don't want to call it pop, but that
no,
increased his
that made
audience.
him. That was the thing that started
And
his stardom. Yeah,
yeah, so I'm saying before that it was up and down. Like Reasonable Doubts was, if you knew, you knew.
Yes.
The next album was like, what is this guy? This guy's rapping with Babyface, Sunshine. Like, what is going on here? And then
like it. Yeah, it
so
was a
there
terrible
was kind
mix.
of up
Yeah,
and down. But it's interesting. I was living the contract life. I hit a windfall on Friday, which means I got paid, right? So I'm like, yo, I think I might go to this album Friday night.
go
I mean, I
for
think I might go to this concert Friday night. So I was looking at tickets, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do it. But then I had something to do at 4 a.m. in the morning, and I was like, if I was, it was 30 years ago, I
Yeah.
could have pulled it off.
Yeah. It's like,
Now I couldn't. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll do Saturday night. It's like, oh, those prices are different.
Yep.
Those prices are different, but yeah, I definitely agree. I had the opportunity to see Jay. Like I remember when I first kind of fell in love with Reasonable Doubts, was chilling in Park Slope with our brother One Way, Divine Wind. We sitting there chilling in the apartment with Echo, and we're just enjoying the music. And he was the one that was like, yo, this is great. And we like, I forgot, was it up all night, whatever, listening to that, really enjoying the music. And later on that summer, I had the chance to go see Big and Jay perform at the Palladium. And I remember, and I'd seen Jay-Z perform several times before that, and wasn't really that excited. Wasn't really excited about his performance. Just wearing a bulletproof vest, walking back and forth on the stage. A couple of times before, I was like, I really don't want to see Jay-Z for like 30 minutes. And kind of the evolution, the growth, and how it is, and then seeing him later, it's a wonderful journey. It's a wonderful journey where you're able to continue to grow in that way. And I wonder, like, I don't know if artists really have that opportunity to continue to grow and get better. I wonder if nowadays when you come out, you're kind of put in that box, and that's the box where you got to stay.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I think also a lot of that is is down to uh, people knowing your music and being more familiar with your music, and a lot of that, a lot of that uh, knowledge of a person's music is what gets them halfway there on a successful performance, and then the rest is the artist. Which is why new songs generally do terrible
Yeah.
in a concert situation, regardless of who you are. It's because people need to kind of understand what's going on before it happens. Uh,
The only time I've ever seen a new song hit was I was in the Roxy when they performed Annie Up. MOP did Annie Up. That
yeah,
that, that hit immediately.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I think with what I was saying about the blueprint is that that was the album that solidified him as a superstar, where he was on his ascension, and like Kevin points out, Hard Knock Life made him that superstar. But Blueprint is the first album where the superstar creates a great album, and that changed his trajectory forever at that point. He's in a different stratosphere. And I think for me, when I look at the 3 days, I appreciate the celebration of hip hop culture, because right now there really isn't. We're not very much into the culture. We're not very much into the art form. We're into putting out a song, trying to be successful, whether it's on TikTok or putting out a single. Things are very short lived. There aren't very many cultural movements, or there aren't many artists who are trying to culturally move the goalposts. And I don't mean young or old, I just mean in general, because we're in a different space with the social media era that we're in, that the bang for your buck isn't as great. So to see that, to see hip hop celebrated, to see um, Jada and Joe and Rihanna come back on stage after years, Tiana Taylor, Swiss Beats, you can go on and on and on. Uh, it's one of those rare moments that you don't really see anymore. And it takes someone like Jay Z with that orbit that can attract all of these stars and attract all of the right people to even view the event to make it happen. And I think because of that, it's something that should be celebrated.
Yeah, I think it's a coronation that you often don't get when people are still alive.
Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah,
but and also I think when you're thinking about cultural, I feel it was more a generational line. Like there was younger people that were there, but really it was about Gen X and older millennials.
yeah,
Like that was that, and you'd be okay with that because there's gonna be somebody who is that younger millennial Z who
yeah.
is gonna be able to get their contemporaries together and have their moment. It may not be on the level of Yankee Stadium or what have you, but it was definitely something to see, a really just good reflection point. Um, but the last thing I'll say on this so that we can move, like I look at us. All right, this year, 1986, Lord willing, a month from now will be our 40th anniversary of when we met. And we can come together and reminisce. I don't know if we could go put on the same type of outfits that we was wearing 40 years ago. But part of what makes the reminiscing special is being able to also celebrate where you are now. And I think that I don't if it wasn't the intention of it, then that's fine. I just feel like this past weekend was so much looking back that it could have been an opportunity to kind of evaluate where we are and where we're going, which I think goes into the freestyle and other things that we'll talk about. So for me, in reflecting, that was it. Because I hope I'm making
Yeah.
sense.
And I want to say this because I had an opportunity to go on Sunday night. I didn't go because the tickets were listed as obstructed. I talked to my brother Tim, find out they weren't obstructed, and I was like, then I was wishing, well, I should have went because I would have actually been able to see Jay. Then I find out he didn't go on stage till 12 o'clock because some people bum rushed the show, and my wife was like, well, I would have been like waiting for somebody at midnight. That's not what I wanted to do. So I went from wanting to do it, saying no, speaking to Tim, feeling like I missed out, then went back to okay, it's all right, I missed
I'm
it.
glad I wasn't there.
Yeah, I was like, you know, I'm in my 50s. I don't know if I want to. And then the show was 3 hours after, and in particular, I had just went to the Essence Fest the week before, and all of the headliners, all 3 nights started after midnight. All 3 nights the headliners started, and I left all 3 nights Be, because it was just too much. It started at 7, and the headliner comes on at midnight. That's
so,
bad.
so
But
you're doing Budweiser Superfest starting at night. That's not
yeah,
cool.
but
Go ahead.
I want to say this, and it's off the topic, but I have got to give this love. Out of all the people that were there, including Parliament Funkadelic, which threw down, Cardi B has the most amazing show. I was blown. I could not have been more shocked in my life. So I just need to give Cardi B her flowers. I would never go see Cardi B. That's not on my agenda. Professional, organized, sounded great, lyrics on point, breath control incredible. Honestly, man, I think if you haven't been to a Cardi B show, you would be shocked. You would be shocked. Like I was speechless. So I just wanted to give the sister her flowers because
Well, you know what? I mean, in the way you're giving her the flowers, especially about when you're talking about the breath control and presence, that actually is connected because that is one of the things where I feel with Jay, excuse me, he sets himself apart. That no backtrack, and you
Mm.
can hear clearly every single word.
yeah. And I heard Nas with the same thing that two men on stage in their 50s sounding like they were both 25.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, because there is nothing worse disappointing than when you go to a show and you're excited, and then you hear like you hear him
Yeah.
breathing every single time. There's nothing like, yo, what in the world?
All
But
right.
yeah,
Let's
okay.
move
So,
on.
um, when we talk, or you gonna play something?
No, no, no. I want you to
Okay, all right. So leading up to the show, Jay-Z has been under heavy scrutiny for his allegedly not supporting black causes. The bulk of the complaints centered around the Reasonable Doubt 30 special edition being sold exclusively at Target, breaking the current boycott, and also the people who started to relitigate his partnership with the NFL, juxtaposed with Colin Kaepernick's career outcome. Um, Fair or foul,
yeah.
friend or foe?
Do you
What is
guys
Jay
want to
Z's?
discuss it, or do you want to see? Do you want to look at it? What do you want to do?
Okay, so during the show, he had a lyric. He had a freestyle where he had mentioned Kaepernick. I don't know if you want to play it.
Yeah. All right.
Let's
I'll
play
share
it.
it.
Yeah.
Gladys have to build you back in the community. That's just because after him. I'm listening to Twitter activists, they type and I laugh at them. There's really no comparison. I check my stats again. I'm bringing folks home to their family. Laws get passed this him. You can like it or not. He don't do no ass kissing. Ex-drug dealer, you might not like the packaging, but my presence is the president. My gift is rapping. Oh shit! Let's get on some Brooklyn shit. I'm a target. Hey, don't miss that target. No exclusive, they only doing what Apple and Walmart did. You shopping at Amazon or you boycott? You posting on Instagram? That's better, boy. Stop it. Y'all know Google owns YouTube. You picking and choosing a politicking as usual. They get deep for narratives. It's embarrassing. They running up characters, had to bring back up Capital. Buddy took a check. I ain't even mad at him. The longer that check, signing non-disparaging. I'm the one they can't control. Y'all better be glad it's him. I'm the one they can't control. You better be glad it's him. Have to build you back in the community. That's just good, man.
You good? You good, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it started kind of in the middle, so it went back around.
Yeah. Thoughts?
I'm gonna let Reggie Jacks go first. I see that. I see him shining the microphone.
It's what I say. I'm not mad at the freestyle. I wish he didn't bring up Kaepernick, you know, but I'm not mad at the freestyle. As far as the backlash that he seems to be catching, I'm not with the backlash. I'm okay with honest criticism. I'm okay with honest questioning things, but I'm not okay with the social media backlash of Jay must be the devil. Jay does things because, you know, I know plenty of things that he's done for the community, for people, you know, reaching out, paying for things, and supporting different things. None of that gets brought up. He keeps that on the low, but all the
real things.
Yeah, you know, and all the negative stuff, you know, seems to always flourish up to the top. But I think it's okay for honest questions.
Go ahead, Tim, because I got a lot to say.
In 2003, there's a song on the Black album, Moment of Clarity. We as rappers must decide what's most important. And I can't help the poor if I'm one of them. So I got rich and gave back. To me, that's the win-win. He is who he is. What people are saying about Kaepernick, for me personally, if it's I have stronger feelings about the target and looping that with Amazon and Walmart and kind of just making those very broad strokes, because the boycott of Target was started by two Black women from Minnesota because of Target going back on pointed promises that they made, largely in part because Target's headquarters are in Minnesota, which is ground zero for George Floyd. So I feel that commentary was just showing a level of separation that's where he lives now. So for me, if I took more issue with that, you know, that's like me using Google and this, that, and the other. And I'm saying, because for me personally, my wife and I, we haven't gone back to Target since it got started. And so that for me was the issue. I agree with you, Kev. We got to be able to create the space where we can have discussion and it not just be the whole mudslinging. That it's like, as a billionaire, he can say what he said and he can do things with his money that are good, but I don't think that negates my feelings of I wish he would have stood with where the community is as far as Target, because he could have had that exclusive deal with anybody. Who would have told him no?
Yeah, I honestly think that the community isn't having nuanced conversations. These conversations occur on social media, but they're not really. Even the Target boycott, to me, is not a nuanced conversation. Black. This is the first time the Black community has rallied around something that a corporation has leapt out and said, "Hey, I'm going to create initiatives for the Black community," and they ducked their head. Let's remember when they ducked their head at the beginning of Trump, when all the universities did, except for Harvard, all the major tech companies did, all the major law firms did, all the everybody was ducking their head, scared that Trump was going to bring the pain. And Target as a corporation said, "Whoa, we got to back up because it is dangerous for us." And I think the boycott, if you say, well, what is the end result? The end result is we've taught corporations, don't don't stick your neck out for the Black community, because if you do, you're going to catch it from right wing people, and then the Black community, if you don't support them the way they want to be supported, you're going to face backlash there. So it is best to be Amazon. It is best to be uh, Walmart. And I would venture to say Walmart does 10 times worse and way greater harm to Black people than Target. And I think that's what Jay Z is saying. Like, we're not really having a nuanced conversation about what the end results are. I've heard people compare this to the Montgomery boycott. All of that is nuts to me. Colin Kaepernick,
Compare what to the Montgomery boycott?
Target, the Target boycott to
Oh,
Montgomery.
that's dumb.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's dumb. That's
you
that's
know,
that's
but these are the
ignorance.
conversations on why he said on Twitter, because these are the type of conversations that people are having, not very nuanced conversations. And Colin Kaepernick, let's not forget, Rock Nation was instrumental in getting him that workout with the NFL. That an hour and a half before the workout, Cap went and had his own individual workout an hour and a half away. I love Colin Kaepernick. I love what he did. I hate that his career was sacrificed. But I do think he has done things, and I think it's fair to say, if we're going to be fair all across the board, that he's done some things that have made people scratch their head. That just people who are intimate and close to the circumstance. And I think people talk about Jay online, and Jay is out there actually doing stuff. And I think the problem is, and I told this to Kev yesterday, to me, it's like Stokely and Dr. King and Malcolm, and they were fighting over, oh, my way is the best way to do it, when we needed all three ways. And I personally feel like we need the Colin Kaepernick to do what they do. We need the Jay Z to do what they do. We need informed Twitter warriors to do what they do, and they should not say anything to each other. They shouldn't be nipping at each other's heels. They shouldn't be like, you're doing this the right way, you're doing this the wrong way. Everybody should be attacking this white supremacy massive monster on all fronts. And I think the mistake is when we start going at each other and not the target.
All right. This is we're going to try to keep it not a fight. This is where I disagree with A. Yes, we need all three. That does not mean that neither one can have scrutiny. If we can say that Kaepernick did some things that probably, in retrospect, wish he did it a different way, done some things differently, you can say the same thing for Jay Z. I can't give Jay Z complete credit for getting the workout when the workout contained language in there which was detrimental to Kaepernick's current position where he was. So it wasn't necessarily like, yeah, you tried to do something, it just didn't work out the way that you thought it would, and that's okay. That's okay. I tried. I came up here. I tried to negotiate the best thing, and it didn't work out the way I thought it was. That's okay. But I don't think we can sit here and be like, well, just because you did it, I gotta be quiet and you tried, you fought the good fight. Everybody fights a good fight. But you know what? There's no learning, there's no ability to move forward to the next level if you don't critique and understand what happened.
I don't have a problem with anybody who has a principled stance about Colin Kaepernick. I have a problem with those who say Jay-Z sold out with the NFL and then sit around and enjoy Bad Bunny and uh, Kendrick Lamar and Dr. Dre and
Two things can be true.
and have social commentary on the result of what Jay-Z did, which has an impact on American society, putting these black and brown faces on the biggest day in America and making America digest our culture. That is how you really make change in society.
But two things can be true.
Time.
And how are you going to say that you can't speak about something?
What I'm saying is that you can't have a problem with the thing that created that circumstance and then turn around. You don't get to say, you know what, you shouldn't have did that, Jay. You shouldn't have got involved with the NFL and then enjoy the very reason that he did it. That's a conflict of interest. If you want to say Jay shouldn't have did that, I don't like what NFL did, I'm behind Colin Kaepernick, I'm not watching no NFL, I'm not watching no halftime, have at it. I respect that position. I have a problem with people playing in both pools when they want, when it's convenient.
That's absurd.
Okay.
That's absurd. Martin Luther King, right? Great work. Great civil rights activist, did all of those things. Not the best husband. If I critique him for...
That's not related, Kevin. That's not... This is a direct correlation.
Aaron, but even though it's a direct correlation, they're distinct acts, right? He's hired to do, I don't know what his contract was, right? But we do know that he gave us the entertainment. He was in control of the halftime shows for however many years, right? Great shows about people, nothing but black people and people of color every single time. He ain't even let up. He ain't throw in a little rock band or a little punk band. He kept it 100 the entire time. Fantastic, great. I don't know. Well, we know that part of what he got, part of it came from the civil rights struggle, right? Now, we know that he's not that vocal in it, but we also know that he does a lot of work behind the scenes, right? So some of it came, and that's what put him in a position. So it's not disingenuous for people to be like, well, yo, as far as that, and what was the biggest issue for all of us at that point in time? Colin Kaepernick. So it's not disingenuous for people to be like, hey, what happened with this? How come it didn't seem to go this way? How come it just seemed like only you elevated and nothing happened for Colin Kaepernick?
That's not okay. True. That's not true.
That's okay. Because, what you mean it's not true? Why did he end up there? Why did he end up in that position?
The reason it's not true is because we all benefited.
Why did he end up in that position, Aaron?
Kevin, we are all watching the halftime shows. He is changing culture in America. We get to benefit from that messy choice that he made. We get to bring society.
It's a question that could be asked, though. I think you're making a point as if we can't ask the question.
Like I told you yesterday, it's like the feudal lord that has to go out and, conquer other nations or other community to bring back food, and then I feed the entire kingdom, and then somebody's in the kingdom getting fed. It's like, wow, that king is a really violent guy. Yeah, that's really messy. I can't believe he went over there and stole those tomatoes and those grains while he's sitting there eating the tomatoes and grains. And have to say, well, I don't like the way you did that, but I'll take the food, I'll take the good from that, and then I still get to criticize you.
I think I
You think
think
that makes sense to you? You think you get to do that?
if somebody did something evil, even in protection, right? Even something I benefit from. If somebody does something evil, and I'm not saying that's evil, but if that's the case, I think that those are questions that should be asked.
Then you shouldn't. If you feel it's evil, then
If
you
I live in
shouldn't
Israel,
participate.
if
If
I
you
if
feel
I
it's e-
it's okay for Israel, for people within Israel, for people within the Jewish community to question the way that they are going about protecting them. That is okay. That is all right criticism. Even though they benefit from what they are doing and how they are doing it, it is okay to then question and say,
I'm
hey,
not.
what's
I'm
going
not.
on?
I'm not going to have that conversation with you
No, no,
because
I'm not flipping the conversation. I'm just putting the thing. I
because
can
I
benefit
because
from somebody doing something evil, and I can benefit from that. I can benefit from somebody doing something, yet still question how they're doing it.
Kevin,
Well,
I reject that premise. Let's move on that off
let,
that
All right.
subject because
Okay.
I regret that. I reject that premise, and I really dislike that you brought that up because in order for me to counter you, it's a conversation I don't want to have.
No,
Um, so
let's say
my
this.
apologies. I don't want
Let,
to bring it to geopolitical issues.
let's say I think time provides the opportunity, hopefully, for all of us to be able to reevaluate feelings and positions that at certain times were the greatest thing. Um, and sometimes it gives you the luxury to speak maybe from platforms that maybe you haven't earned. So going broad to then bring it back. We born in the late 60s. Thankfully, we're still alive in 2026. We could give some points of view around the manifestations of integration. That like, but the people who were fighting for it had a vision of what it would be, and some of that came to pass, and some of it came to pass at cost that at the time was unforeseen. We get to speak being the products of that, but we should be able to speak about it with a level of critique, not disparaging what the people did with the best intent in their heart, where they literally put their lives on the line. Bring now, we are how
I
many
don't know if
years?
I agree with that, but go ahead.
What do you mean?
I think we should. If you weren't there, I think you honestly, personally, should kind of be quiet. Like
No,
I hear people say slavery was a choice, or the
no,
slaves
no, no,
didn't fight
no.
enough.
I'm
That
sorry. We're saying the
He
same
said
thing.
honest.
okay.
He said honest critique.
I,
Though.
I,
He's not
I,
just talking about honest looking into
yeah,
things.
and
And
I'm saying that honest look should never include a critique
Okay,
for what people were
went through.
doing
Yes. Okay.
because they were being motivated, I believe, with the most honest intent in their hearts because they literally put their lives on the line.
Yes.
So that was so we're saying the same thing.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
I
So
agree with that.
Go
so I
ahead.
was
Go
just
ahead.
saying,
And to me,
Let him
that's the whole
finish,
thing.
Kev.
yeah. So
Good,
I'm
good.
just saying that, like right now, how many years we are removed from the partnering with the NFL and this, that, and the other, that we got some amazing halftime shows and there were some things that move forward. But at some point we might feel like, okay, that was good 5 years ago, but is it worth it in the long run? And that's so for me, I just wanted to bring that point up, that I think we now have lived long enough where we're seeing some things where it's like, okay, what we thought was going to be amazing felt amazing in that moment,
I
but then over time it's like, okay, have my values changed? Have my belief system changed? Have my thoughts changed? Have I got smarter about certain things where maybe that might not have been the best choice for the long run versus the short run? And I'm not saying it to make an opinion
No.
about
I'm
that.
with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
My thing is that if you look at the Colin Kaepernick situation, and Jay Z was right at some point, the kneeling stops or the movement stops. You say, well, what do I want out of this? What can I get that can be long lasting? And there weren't a lot of things on the table that were going to come that were going to be permanent from that. Colin Kaepernick goes back to football, could have been one of them. The NFL could have had, some policy change about police brutality. That could have been something. Uh, but I do think what we did get has more benefit than people realize. I do think that the cultural shifts, the from the typical, you know, uh, Kenny, Loggins performance
So let me say this, and
matters. I
let me
think
say
it
this,
matters.
and so we definitely have to move. Could it be that benefit, I don't want to say came at the expense of that benefit? I do agree with you, is a very real benefit, and I've been a benefactor of that. I'm not going to sit here and say that I missed any of those Super Bowl shows, and I've watched them multiple times. But if I'm remembering correctly, Cat kneeled because he wanted us to start having more critical conversations around
Yeah,
police
yeah.
and their interactions.
And it was really a private,
And
in all
and
honesty, a private thing that he was doing that reporters picked up on and made it bigger and
and
pushed it.
and, and so if that has not happened where we can see fruit from that, then there's still work to do.
Oh,
Can we can we
absolutely.
can we leave can we
No,
leave it
yeah,
there?
we leave it there.
Yeah.
There's definitely work
So
to do.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's what that is.
All
yeah.
right, moving on. In more tragic news, 18-year-old Nolan Wells took a boat trip with friends to celebrate 4th of July on an island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. He never came back. 2 days later, his body was found. His family searching for answers. The Black community is also demanding answers to this tragedy. How does the community's social media response make you feel?
I'm sorry, Kev. I played something. Say that again.
I said, how does the community, the response and social media and everything, how does that make you feel about this tragedy? Is it bringing up any particular feelings or anything?
For you want me to go first, Tim?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
For me, and I'm gonna share this, y'all, on the screen. Um, I just want people to look at this is Instagram. For me, this family deserves answers. They need to know what happened to their son. They need to know how it happened, why it happened. Was anybody responsible? Was anybody negligent? Was he harmed in any way? And those are all questions that I understand anybody having. But I think we are doing the family a real disservice when you have social media commentators who are putting out videos every single day. There's people I follow that every day they're putting out a video on this subject, whether they have anything new to say or not. And I think that is dangerous and kind of sad to turn this into a financial, you know, uh, windfall for you. This is not Kendrick and Drake where nobody gets hurt or nobody gets really hurt. And I'm just would caution Black community to not go for the easy, oh, he was harmed by his white friends, or and that may be true, but we don't know what happened. Let's find out. Let's not fill in the blanks, and let's remember there's a family behind this that's going through a real tragedy, and this is not for it's not fodder for our consumption.
I'll say this, and to keep it short. Being black, it just brings up the trauma that is in our bones, and just in honestly within our DNA. Everything you said, A, is absolutely right. It's tragic that I have to be intentional to not go there, because I'm a black man, 58 years old, living in America, where everything just automatically takes me there.
Yeah,
You know, and because it's not knowing anything truthfully about the Nolan Wells situation, but you hear the things about the argument. And so then it's like, okay, is there a fear that grips black people when they are the minority in a situation being surrounded by white people that may have led Carmelo Anthony to snap? Not justifying.
yeah,
There's a difference between justification and explanation. To your point, when you see the photo, what is it inside of me that makes me immediately want to just go, bam? That's why you shouldn't have white. Da, 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 da. And I know that that is the wrong microaggression to run on, but I would be lying if it didn't come up.
yeah,
And so for me, I agree with you. The problem is it comes up and then people are running with it and just running so far away that the truth just becomes so disguised that you start believing lies.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
but the family is grieving, and we are too, but it's not comparable to a fact that you got a mother and father that are trying to figure out what happened to their son.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it brings up so many conflicting issues. Obviously, growing up, it's something that I dealt with. I was often one of the only black people around, out with them all types of times. Um, my son also in a similar situation. I'm sure I've got pictures of my own child on a boat like that with friends, out in different parts of in different places. It's I didn't I didn't necessarily react to the knee jerk of him being like the minority amongst white kids. My knee jerk reaction, as I said to my friends and family, is always concerned about young boys, young men, just together, out and about. Like, to me, that's to me, that is the greatest danger, because you make bad, horrible choices and decisions. I know people like, oh, and I heard the parents say, well, he knows that when you go with somebody, you come back with somebody. He knows you do that. Yeah, we all know those things as kids, but sometimes you just make horrible choices and decisions. I always tell the story how when I was 15, I was out with a bunch of kids, the only black person there. We're playing around in the car. We get into a car accident. The car flips over. The roof falls out. I jump out the car. Me and a other person, we're in shock, and we're trying to hide the accident. We're moving pieces of the roof off the road. What do? Somebody drives by that he knows. I jump in the car. I got to get out of here, because if I'm caught here, my parents will murder me, and I bounce. Now, fast forward 3, 4 years later, I'm out with y'all. We've been in many harrowing situations where I should have left. I've never left. So I mean, like it it happens. It happens.
yeah. I mean, I
So you don't know how your kid is really gonna act. Like, you know what you tell your kid.
Well, you know what? Just I mean, really quickly, you think about it. part of what really brought us together was seeing a situation where people were running and one or two was able to get into the cab and one or two did not get into said cab, and the friends told the cab to go off and leaving the two to catch a 1986 version of a beatdown. Now, they did not die. We don't think. I mean, but
from that beating, yes.
But we promised each other on the top of that library, like, yo, we better not ever do that. Now, for that, seeing that, making that decision, that overrode lessons from mama, daddy, the pulpit, because we were figuring out our lives for the first time, being at least 240 miles from home. So that's a really great point. That's for me, that's the part that's unexcusable, regardless of ethnicity, wealth.
Yeah.
Like, how did y'all come back home?
Yeah.
And come back home with his phone and keys. Like,
my last statement will be, and I know the family's hurting, and I know they're suspicious of everything that does happen, but even like the parents saying, well, one of the guys was like, Nolan was my best friend, and they were like, well, we've never met him. That doesn't mean that he wasn't Nolan's best friend. I'm sorry to say to parents, but you don't know a lot of what your kids are doing, and the idea that you know Nolan's best friend,
yes,
it's not necessarily true.
Yes,
most of the time it is.
No. I was gonna say you're right. I could see them coming from current day. You're raising your children. Your children are a lot more around you, and things of that nature. But that still doesn't mean even though you think you know.
Yeah.
So you know,
and that's what parents often do. They think they know, and they just think that everybody has personal lives.
Because if we all did not present the best version of ourselves to our parents, because if our parents knew, freshman year, the band would have got broken up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Then it's like, why are you on academic probation? It's the boy Aaron. So
it's all his fault.
Yeah. So the truth is, we present what we want them to know, and we present who we want them to know. So
yeah.
I mean, for me overall, I hate the speculation. Like, I really come to hate social media. Like, when I saw the picture of him in a pool party, like, see, this is proof that he came back, and it turns out it was some couple of days before.
Yeah.
And I was like, people got to stop, man. You got to let these people, like, I don't understand. I mean, they're really doing it for engagement. Like, and I guess I can't get it through my head, because in my head I'm like, you're doing it for a purpose. Either you're trying to help or you're trying to harm. But no, they're just doing it for engagement.
They're doing it for their own engagement. Because let's keep it a buck. And as we wrap the show before we go to the Robinson Report, they're doing it for clickbait. Is their level of, how can I help the poor if I'm one of them? I get rich and give back, and that's a win-win. Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah.
Because if there was no value or currency to clicks, there's a lot of things that people would put out that they would not be racing to put out. So
I
can't remember there's a family. There's a family behind this who is directly, but there's also a community that's directly. And as you said, that's like, okay, prayerfully the truth will come out. Yeah.
We don't know what those boys who went with them are feeling, because at least as far as we know, a friend went with y'all that died.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I mean, please.
Yeah.
I would be distraught.
I would
if that happened to one of us, and we've known each other 40 years.
and
Let
and
alone
and
that happened at 18.
and let's say for some reason they're innocent. So
Yes.
add that on top of that, and
Yes.
they lost a friend, and the world thinks they did it. You know,
Yes.
like
and they can't really mourn. They
And you
probably
can't
can't
and
show
you
up at a
can't
funeral.
you can't. Yeah, it's like, how do you go to a funeral? How do you defend yourself?
yeah,
Like, yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
shout out. We were talking about Kaepernick before. Shout out to Kaepernick who flew the body up for their own private autopsy.
autopsy.
And just so
Yeah.
you know, in Mississippi, you can be a coroner. Coroner is often an elected position.
Yeah.
All you need is a high school diploma. Like you
Yeah.
don't got to be a
Yeah.
doctor. So
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Here we go.
all right, now it's time for the Robinson Report. Those things that are giving me life, or giving your life, or
Yeah.
making Reggie Jacks mad.
Fucking the soul out of Reggie Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I brought A Love to being mad earlier. So let me apologize for making A Love mad.
That should nope.
Bring
You were madder than me,
geopolitics.
bro.
That should be
geopolitics.
that should be your Robinson report. But go ahead.
That's all right. I'm sure he's going. He might be swinging on me next time we see each other.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. The post show wrap up is mad explicit. Aaron's freestyle to open the show next week. He's gonna be talking about Kev. Like, Kev took that check and had to sign an NDA. Don't nobody control me. Yeah, it's your boy.
But yeah, all right. I'll go
As I
first.
said with Jay, sometimes we go too far. Go ahead.
Yes.
So mine is two things. Or one, I just came from Essence Fest, so New Orleans was beautiful. But I'm going to Myrtle Beach tomorrow, play golf with my brother-in-law for the next week. So I'm excited about that. And that's definitely giving me life. And at the same time, I'm reading Dan Brown's new book. I don't even know how old it is, Kev. It's new to me. I think it's been out since the fall.
Which
The
one?
Secret of Secrets. So
Oh yeah. Good book.
I'm really liking it. I felt like he kind of maybe coasted a little bit after the Da Vinci Code. He's had okay books, but this one I'm really, really, really enjoying. Really enjoying. So if you're a Dan Brown fan, definitely check this one out because this is one of his better ones.
Cool. Dan Brown. I love all of his books. I as soon as they come out, I read every single one of them. You see, we got Brother Webb in the chat, kind of heavy. You want me to go?
Yeah, what
All
you
right.
got? Because
All right,
I got 4 minutes.
Gotcha. This is why I'm mad. I don't know if you heard of silicon sampling, right? Imagine reading a poll on a major national issue and you find out not a single human was actually surveyed. That's the reality called silicon sampling. Wow. That is what is currently happening. There's a New York Times article by Leif Weatherby and Benjamin Reed in the New York Times that describe how startups, major firms, including names like Gallup, Ipsos, they do AI. They use AI agents to simulate survey responses instead of talking to real people. And then they share that out as in, this is what the community is feeling. This is what people are believing. I don't know if you know how dangerous this is, but this is how public policy is made for how the community, what they think the community believes, their opinions and things. And they're using AI sampling, not even talking to real people. We got problems, y'all. That's it.
We do.
Yo, you know what? I'm a detour and I'm a roll with Reggie Jacks. My Robinson report is actually a warning. If you are on Instagram, please make sure you go and click that share setting that stops them from allowing to use your voice and your photos as AI.
Oh wow, I didn't know they could do that.
It just happened within the past week and a half. There was some people who was posting, letting people know you got to go to your settings and go down to share, and you'll see it where it's like your content can be used in AI, and you have to turn it off.
Yes.
Turning it off now
because
the bots are coming for us.
Yeah, so that's something that they could take our voice, they could take our image and do that. And then the last thing I'll say is this sister named Siobhan, Shavone. She plays the flute and is kind of an ill MC. And so she got this joint on YouTube called Smile Now. It just made me smile. So shout out to the sis. But definitely
we're gonna put that in the description.
But definitely make sure you're checking that setting. It is really frustrating that Meta will make decisions that then you have to knowingly go and turn off, as opposed to wouldn't a more responsible thing? Hey, here is an offering that you would have to go turn on in order to happen. So
yeah, that automatic opt-in is crazy. But I misspoke. There's Fonda that's actually up in the chat. Thank you, Fonda.
Shout out to Fonda. But yo,
hey, how
great
you doing,
show.
Fonda?
This is Tim. Yeah. Oh, actually, before I sign off, like 30 seconds. Yo, so funny. Vanessa, because I was like, hey, we got to record this morning because Aaron is getting ready to leave. She was like, yo, they be traveling and getting it in. It's like, hey, you know what? They probably saved their money. They're intentional about it. I ain't mad at them. But she was like, yo, they be on the move. And I'm like, so you saying that while we stuck at home? So this is Tim from Mike Sounds Nice. I'm home because I ain't going nowhere. Until next time. Send pictures.
This is Reggie Jackson. My Mike Sounds Nice. I'm home. A's making us look bad.
Aaron, my Mike Sounds Nice.
It's like
coming from Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, the Bronx is nice.
Yeah. Silver Spring is nice. Yes.
Oh man.
Like my man went from Essence to Myrtle, someplace with a passport.
Yeah.
Like, yo, don't this brother just do podcasting with kids in the Bronx? How's he traveling? So, yo. It's like yeah. Yo, I'm out.
I'm out. Yo, peace, y'all.
Peace.
Oh gosh.
Yo, hey, we got